Good morning and welcome again, and welcome specifically to the Town Auditorium here at the Daniel and Gail Daniello Building. My name is Mike Haney, Vice Chancellor here at Syracuse University, and before we begin today, I would like to acknowledge with respect the Onondaga Nation, firekeepers of the Haudenosaunee, the indigenous people on whose ancestral land Syracuse University now stands. And next, before we do anything further, I would like to invite Katie Weber to the stage to sing our national anthem. Katie is a graduate student at Syracuse University Setner School of Music, pursuing a Master's of Music and Voice Pedagogy. Please stand if you're able. Katie? Thank you, Katie. As Chancellor Severud mentioned last night, this event was conceived from a conversation that happened in this building almost exactly a year ago between leaders of two institutions that share a common vision for serving the military-connected community. They also share conveniently in common the color orange, so that was good for coordinating our logos and designs, though I am partial to the Syracuse brighter orange. So to kick us off this morning, I think it's appropriate that we first welcome to the podium the Chancellor of Syracuse University, Kent Severud, and then the Provost of the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, John Zomchik. So, Chancellor Severud.
Good morning. Honored to welcome you all to Syracuse University and the Summit on the All-Volunteer Force at 50 Higher Education and America's Volunteer Military. This summit is happening because of the commitment and the innovative thinking and the hard work of Vice Chancellor Mike Haney and an amazing team here at the National Veterans Resource Center at the Daniel and Gail Daniello Building. So I want to clap for all the organizers first. And like Mike, I just want to thank the whole team of leaders from the University of Tennessee, many of whom are here. It is unusual for a private university in upstate New York and a university system in the South to get together on something. And that did happen because that delegation of leaders came up here a year ago. And you'll hear, I think, from UT Knoxville Provost John Zomchik just in a minute. But we did learn from conversations with Randy Boyd, who is an incredible leader of the system, that different parts of the country, private and public, do have a deep commitment to veterans and military communities and want to be part of helping in that area. And so we're so grateful that we've been able to do this together. We started a conversation about how we could help, though, and in a really meaningful way, that conversation continued last night as I think most of you, but not all of you, heard author Sebastian Junger talk with us about being embedded with an Army platoon in Afghanistan and about how those 50 young people were so diverse and so committed to a common mission and ethic of service. Some of them did not like each other, but they would die for each other, and they felt they had no right to be tired even when lugging a 140-pound rucksack all night over a 10,000-foot high mountain pass. Sebastian Junger told us kind of with awe and with some pride that this is what an American soldier is. And he suggested what a great thing it would be if that spirit of service and shared mission was nurtured both upon return to civilian life and among a greater portion of our young people in this country. I think probably everybody here would agree that would be good for our armed forces and for our country. But from my corner of upstate New York, as we start work on this summit, I want you to know that I think it would also be really good for our colleges and universities. And I speak from our recent experience here. I reported last night that we now here at Syracuse University with our 22,000 full-time students are at 6% veteran and military connected enrollment, a really dramatic increase. I kind of want all the college folks here to know that this has had unexpected and beneficial effects on our culture here. We are an incredibly diverse campus with students from 160 countries, all faiths, all races, all nationalities. Our students lean a bit to the left, as you would expect in the Northeast, and our faculty leans a little bit more to the left. Yet some things are different here than you would expect given that profile. Here's a little one. We actually sing the national anthem here. And not just at football games. At my last university in 9 years, I only heard the national anthem sung once. But here, I mean, ask yourselves, when's the last time you went to an academic conference on a university campus and they started with the national anthem? It is getting normal here, and our military-connected population is normalizing it. I was at a student baseball game last week. We don't have an intercollegiate baseball team alone among the ACC schools. So a student baseball team means a couple hundred people and their faculty advisor from the Newhouse School. And just before the umpire called out the first pitch, the first baseman of this incredibly diverse baseball team, the first baseman walked out to the mound and belted out the national anthem with the whole team. So that may seem like a little thing, so let me tell you a bigger one. This university stayed open for in-person instruction and activities during the COVID pandemic, except for 7 weeks of classes in March and April of 2020. Opening up again in summer 2020 was very hard to do. We had to test 30,000 people on campus regularly. The dome became a testing center. We had to keep less than 5 people in any dorm room at any time. Think of your freshman year of college, how you could have done that. We needed to staff testing centers and prevent parties at what was not so long ago known as the #1 party school in the nation. And our state government and public health authorities insisted we would have to close down and send everyone home for the semester at any moment we had more than 100 positive tests in our 30,000 population on this campus. At one point, we got to 96 positive tests, but we stayed open, which was pretty incredibly important to this whole community for a whole bunch of reasons. And we are proud that we did that safely. But the thing I mention that to you is because one of the secret weapons in what did that was our veteran and military community, in our students and in our staff. They volunteered to staff the testing centers. They were leaders in helping us figure out supply chain issues and communications. They acted throughout like Sebastian Junger's words, they had no right to be tired. And that inspired a lot of other people across the campus to create a culture of common purpose and mission to get through COVID in person and safely. So as we talk today about the all-volunteer force at 50, I ask that we all go into it with an attitude that we all have something to win from it, including colleges, particularly if we work together to preserve the American culture and values that Sebastian Junger described as defining those who serve in our military. And I really look forward to rolling up my sleeves and figuring out how we do that with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Severud. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Zomchik, the Provost at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. It's my honor this morning to be here to offer you a very few words of welcome on behalf of President Randy Boyd and the University of Tennessee system. Before I do that, I want to acknowledge the leadership of Chancellor Severud, who's acknowledged everyone else except himself up to this moment, and ask you to join me in some applause of appreciation for his leadership. The University of Tennessee system is honored to partner with Syracuse University to host this important event. And as Vice Chancellor Haney noted, we share similar shades of color. I won't ask you to vote on which is better this morning, though I'm sorely tempted to, I have to say. But we also share something more important, and that is a commitment to our nation's veterans and to the principles of service that are so important to our institutions and to the armed forces. Many of you know that the state of Tennessee is known as the volunteer state, and that we have 200 years of history going back to the War of 1812 of providing volunteers for this country. We take that calling seriously. At the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, we are the volunteers. We are committed to our veterans and the invaluable contributions that they make every day on our campus. If you'll indulge me for a moment, I want to tell you a story. If you've been to our campus, you know in the middle of our campus is our torchbearer, a statue of a man carrying a torch. And under that is the Torchbearer Creed. And the creed goes like this: one that beareth a torch, shadoweth oneself to give light to others. We have a tradition for our first-year students. Before classes start in the fall, we assemble at something called Torch Night. And at Torch Night, our students light the torch of service and pledge themselves to serve others. Our current chancellor, Dondi Plowman, changed that tradition just a tiny bit. And so now, the person who lights the torch is a veteran. And I've had the privilege to be at this ceremony and watch that veteran come to the stage and watch all of the 6,000 to 7,000 students in the audience rise and give applause and signs of appreciation for that veteran's service. And to me, what that means is that the principles of service are alive and well in our young people today. And that gives me great hope for this country. At the other end of their journey, when they graduate, during commencement, to me, the most moving moment is when the young men and women cadets of our Army and Air Force ROTC process up the center aisle to the stage to be commissioned and to take their oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. At that moment, and even now the hair rises on the back of my neck to think about that moment. At that moment, the entire arena rises to honor these men and women and cheers them on for the next stage of their lives. We currently host about 1,800 students across all of our campuses, and our campuses have been consistently recognized for their service to our veterans. In June of 2022, our Board of Trustees, following authorization provided by our state legislature, approved a measure that classifies military-affiliated students as Tennessee residents. This measure enables them to attend any UT institution at the in-state tuition rate, regardless of their state of residence. This applies to veterans, active duty military personnel, reservists, Tennessee National Guard members, and Army and Air Force ROTC cadets. We're proud of this, Tuition benefits help get these students through our doors, much perhaps as enlistment bonuses help bring young men and women into the armed forces these days. But we also know that we have a duty to support our military students, especially our veterans, and that support is a crucial part of their success. Our campuses, as I'm sure your campuses as well, have many programs to help them on their journey. And I was very, very touched by what Chancellor Severud said last night about the diversity of our veterans, how they are living embodiments of the ideal of service. They bring diversity of viewpoint, but they bring a singular commitment to the ideal of service that raises everyone in our institutions. It's important for us to give our veterans the sense that they belong, the sense that they matter, the sense that we're there for them when they meet tough challenges. I hope that today's event, as we hear from all of the wonderful speakers, I hope that today's event gives us renewed commitment to supporting our veterans, renewed commitment to doing more for them, and renewed commitment to spreading the ideal of service throughout our country. Together, I think, I hope, I believe, we can find solutions to our common challenges and develop new ideas and partnerships to address the ever-critical need for building the ideal of service in our country. I believe that we all share the belief that access to the opportunities provided by military service and higher education offers lifelong benefits. Mr. Younger talked about those last evening, and can produce an educated and civic-minded citizenry that is essential for the future of our country. Once again, thank you to our hosts. Thank you to all of you for attending today. I look forward to the great discussion, and I look forward to continuing our efforts to help our veterans and military-affiliated people. Thank you so much for your attention.